Dadile, the winner of Naija Boss Factor Season 1. I just want to say I'm so excited because, wow, this is a very big thing that has happened to me. And concerning this Season 2 that is coming, I'm just telling you, those that are going to be competing, bring in your A game. This is not something you come casually. Come with your A game, come for it. And Season 2 is up. Those of you that didn't enroll, I'm sorry, you have missed out big time. You scammed yourself. You think they were trying to scam you, but you scammed yourself.
Very good evening. Welcome to The World Now at 4 on Hills TV. I am Uduak Daniel. First, let's talk the headlines. And on the headline, support groups pick up nomination form for Osibajo. Still on the headlines, AU seeks international help after Somalia troop deaths. Also on the headlines, UK Prime Minister Johnson faces election test. And on sport, Argentina legend's Hand of God shirt sells for 7.1 million euros at auction. And now the news in detail. Nigeria's Vice President Yemi Osibajo has picked his expression of interest and nomination forms to contest the 2023 presidential election on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, that is the APC. His spokesman, Naolu Akande, made this known on Thursday. Akande said the forms were collected by representatives of Osibajo's support groups. According to him, a passionate team of support groups and individual Nigerians from across the country have raised funds to support the purchase of APC nomination forms for the Vice President 2023 presidential bid. Today, the forms are being collected by representatives of the team just as the VP continues his interactions with APC stakeholders across the states. Today, Vice President Osibajo is in Cross River and Bayelsa states. In the APC, at least 15 Southerners are already in the race. Taking a walk away from that story, let's bring to your eardrums the fact that Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi on Thursday appealed to the federal government to take over the state. The government-owned King David University of Medical Sciences Teaching Hospital, Uburu. Umahi made the appeal at Uburu, Ohazara local government area of the state during the inauguration of hospital by President Muhammadu Buhari as part of his two-day official visit to the state. The governor said that the request became necessary because the scope of the hospital was beyond the management of any state. He also said the hospital would go a long way in solving the medical tourism challenges of the country, as it has the best facilities obtainable anywhere in the world. And now to Adamawa State, where the Adamawa State Police Command has arrested 14 notorious criminals terrorizing residents of Yola North and Yola South local government areas of the state. The police in Adamawa, following its sustained efforts to read the state of crime and improve public safety, burst the activities of the crime syndicate, which also led to the recovery of one Audi vehicle, 6 computer sets, and 2 television sets, hard drugs, among others. The suspects, during their interrogations, confessed to committing offenses which range from house-to-house robberies within Yola North and South local government areas, as well as the rustling of 34 cows, amongst others. The Adamawa State Police Command Sikiru Akande had, while resuming his duty post, pledged to rid the state of criminal elements. On Thursday in Yola, while parading the criminals, Akande again reassured of the readiness of personnel of the force in sustaining the efforts by the command to rid the state of criminal elements. When we return, news from other parts of Africa. Don't go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Following this week's deadly attack on African Union troops in Somalia by Al-Shabaab militants, the Continental Body has offered its heartfelt condolences to the family of the dead. Its statement did not confirm how many soldiers were killed. The militants had said that more than 170 AU soldiers had died, mostly Burundian nationals, but this number has not been independently verified. The AU mission has, however, confirmed that the base in the Middle Shabelle region was staffed by Burundian peacekeepers, and its spokesman offered his condolences to the government and the people of Burundi. Spokesman Stephen Dujarric wished a speedy recovery to the injured without specifying how many or who they were, and called for the international community to provide all the necessary support to ATMIS and to the Somali security forces in their fight against Al-Shabaab. The Burundian army has said 10 of its soldiers died and another 5 were missing. Away from Burundi, heading off to Mozambique. Mozambique is planning a new law that will regulate churches' activities, impose taxes on them, and require them to have a minimum number of 200 signatures in order to register. Justice, Constitutional and Religious Affairs Minister Helena Kida said a government analysis had revealed warning signs amid a runaway proliferation of churches. Mozambique has a total of 900 officially registered religious denominations, but a lot more exist. Meanwhile, the Christian Council of Mozambique, that is the CCM, is backing most of the provisions of the proposed law, saying it recognizes that the government wants to bring order. The provision to tax churches, however, worries the churches. We now move to other parts of the world after this break. Do stay with us. Glad to have you back. And the world now at 4. Voters in Britain went to polls in local government elections on Thursday, where they are expected to punish Prime Minister Boris Johnson over a cost of living crisis and fines for breaking his own COVID-19 lockdown rules. The elections are seen as a test of support for Johnson, who became the first British leader in living memory to have broken the law while in office, when he was fined last month for attending a birthday gathering in his office in 2020. Tony Travers, a professor at the London School of Economics, said the elections are without doubt the biggest test of Boris Johnson since the 2019 general election, and come after what has been a very difficult time for him and his government. Votes will decide almost 7,000 council seats across the United Kingdom. determining the makeup of 140 local government authorities which are responsible for the day-to-day provision of public services. The results will not directly affect Johnson's practical ability to govern because the vote does not cause seats in Parliament to change hands. But with the main opposition, Labour Party, trying to press its criticism of the government's response to the cost of living crisis, a poor performance could embolden critics in his party who wonder if he is still an electoral asset ahead of the next general election that must be held before the end of 2024. Results are expected to start coming in from early hours of Friday. And now to Ukraine. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Thursday, as Russian forces press their assault, that civilians, including women and children, will need to be dug from bunkers under a steel works that is the last holdout of resistance in Ukraine's Mariupol after failing to capture the capital Kiev in the early weeks of a war that has killed thousands and flattened cities, towns and villages. Russia has accelerated its attacks across southern and eastern Ukraine. Russia's military said it would pause military activity at the Azovstal steelworks in the port city of Mariupol during Thursday daytime and the following 2 days to allow civilians to leave. In an early morning address, Zelensky said Ukraine stood ready to ensure a ceasefire in Mariupol. Zelensky said it will take time simply to lift people out of those basements, out of those underground shelters. In the present conditions, we cannot use heavy equipment to clear the rubble away. It all has to be done by hand. Ukrainian fighters inside Azovstal are fighting difficult, bloody battles against Russian troops. Denis Prokopenko, a commander with Ukraine's Azov regiment, said late Wednesday. Ukraine's military general staff said Russia's assault on the sprawling Soviet-era plant included air support. Talking the world now at 4, Taiwan has signaled on Thursday that it had abandoned the plan to buy advanced new anti-submarine warfare helicopters from the United States, saying they were too expensive. Taiwan had earlier said it was planning to buy 12 MH-60R anti-submarine helicopters, but domestic media said the United States had rejected the sale as not being in line with the island's needs. Asked in Parliament about recent changes to Taiwan's purchase of the U.S. weapons, Defense Minister Chiu Kuo-cheng mentioned the helicopter case first. According to him, the price is too high, beyond the scope of the country's ability. 2 other arms purchases have been delayed. M109A6 medium self-propelled howitzer artillery systems and mobile Stinger anti-aircraft missiles. Up next on the World Now at 4 is business news. Don't go away. It is a pleasure to have you back. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, that is the NERC, has given Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company, that is the PHEDC, Jos Electricity Distribution Company, that is the JEDC, Kano Electricity Distribution Company, that is the KEDC, Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company, that is the KEDC as well, Jos Ikeja Electricity Distribution Company, that is the IKEDC, and Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, that is the IBEDC, approval to increase their tariff rates. The new approval took effect from January 1, 2022, but the new rate is from February 2022. According to the document, NERC based the increase on the performance improvement plans of the DISCOs and indices such as gas price, inflation, exchange rate, U.S. inflation rate, and division and available generation capacity. The Commission noted that the indices with potential impact on electricity rates were considered. Bringing you more stories, the National Action Committee on the African Continental Free Trade Area, that is the FTA, said it has commenced the development of policies in collaboration with relevant export agencies for the free flow of trade in Nigeria. Ogo Chukura, Team Lead Export Markets Development National Action Committee, that is the NAC, disclosed this in an interview. He said the policies would synergize the ministries, departments and agencies, that is the MDAs, that have a role in supporting the growth of trade in the country. Chukura said NAC was also identifying the opportunities and developing strategies to help boost trade, adding that infrastructure development was critical to the operating environment of business and a key driver of cost. He also stated that the committee was partnering with the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment to develop a program that would allow agricultural producers to move seamlessly from point A to point B. He said negotiations were ongoing to ensure pricing was kept within the capacity for business owners to pay, adding that the committee was working with relevant ministries to engage in logistics for effective service delivery. Still talking business, oil prices extended gains on Thursday on supply concerns after the European Union laid out plans for new sanctions against Russia, including an embargo on crude in 6 months, offsetting concerns over weaker Chinese demand. Brent was up 36 cents or 0.3% at $110.50 a barrel by 0825 GMT, and US West Texas Intermediate crude rose 11 cents or 0.1% to $107.92 a barrel. Both benchmarks gained more than $5 a barrel on Wednesday. The sanctions proposal, which needs unanimous backing by the 27 EU countries, also include phasing out imports of Russian refined products by the end of 2022 and the ban on all shipping and insurance services for the transportation of Russian oil. An oil markets research lead, Bjornar Tonghagen, said the oil market is not fully priced in the potential of an EU oil embargo, so higher crude prices are to be expected in the summer months if it's voted into law. Meanwhile, French Environment and Energy Minister Barbara Pompili said she was confident European Union member states will reach a consensus on sanctions by the end of this week. Meanwhile, in its meeting on Thursday, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, that is OPEC, and allied producers known as OPEC Plus, will likely stick to modest oil output increases, arguing it is not responsible for geopolitics and supply disruptions. OPEC Secretary General Mohammed Barkindo reiterated it was not possible for other producers to replace Russian supply, but expressed concerns about slowing demand for transportation fuels and petrochemicals in the world's top importer, China, because of prolonged COVID-19 lockdowns. Global equity markets were still on the charge on Thursday on relief that the biggest hike in U.S. interest rates in more than 2 decades hadn't been even sharper. London, Paris and Frankfurt were up between 1.3% and 2% in early European trading amid collective cheers at Wednesday's 50 basis point Federal Reserve rate hike and its accompanying signals that 75 BPS moves were now unlikely. It kept European government bond yields largely in check ahead of what is expected to be the Bank of England's 4th hike since December, while oil steadied after the European Union's plan to ban Russian oil imports that triggered a near 5% spike. In currency markets, the dollar was gradually regaining its footing after the Fed's move had caused its biggest drop in nearly 2 months. It is up for more than 7% so far this year, on track for its biggest annual gain since 2015. It meant sterling was being shuffled back to 1.2548 US dollars ahead of the BOE, where traders have fully priced the 25 basis point rate hike later. The euro was backed at 1.05 US dollars. The main action was centered on the equity markets though. U.S. crude futures gained 0.3% to $108.21 US dollars a barrel and Brent steadied at $110.25 US. Both benchmarks rose 5% over a barrel on Wednesday. Still to come on The World Now at 4 is sports. Don't go away.
It happened last year when we had 7 finalists vying for the grand prize, M Grand 7 2021 model worth 11.5 million naira.
For the winner, season 1, Niger Boss Factor, Joel Idachole.
This year, it is even bigger and better.
My name is Joel Idachole, the winner of Niger Boss Factor Season 1. Those of you that didn't enroll, I'm sorry, you have missed out big time. You scammed yourself. You think they were trying to scam you.
Register for the Niger Boss Factor Season 2 with the sum of 5,500 naira payable to GT Bank account number 0561 094 161. Send payment proof to WhatsApp portal number 0901 625 2525. Go to www.bossfm.ng to complete your registration. Call 0808 237 0000 or 0811 584 1500 for more information. Niger Boss Factor Season 2. Celebrate culture, celebrate life. Terms and conditions apply.
My name is Joel Idachole, the winner of Niger Boss Factor Season 1. I just want to say I'm so excited because, wow, this is a very big thing that has happened to me. And concerning this Season 2 that is coming, I'm just telling you, those that are going to be competing, bring in your A game. This is not something you come casually. Come with your A game, come for it. And Season 2 is up. Those of you that didn't enroll, I'm sorry, you have missed out big time. You scammed yourself. You think they were trying to scam you, but you scammed yourself. Thank you.
So, Boss FM 95.5, Abuja carry this one. Say if you sabi sing, you sabi rap. You dey cook, you sabi cook. You dey shop, you sabi chop. Any kind talent, any which one, all of them. Yeah, time for the Niger Boss Factor idea.
Good evening and welcome to World Now at Sports on World Now at 4. I am Memo Cynthia Asoya. Now to sports. Malawi coach Mario Manika has named a provisional 27-member squad of home-based players to begin the first phase of preparation for the 2023 African Cup of Nations AFCON qualifiers. Marinika, who has taken over the mantle from dismissed Mek Mwase, said he was to build on the team's performance at the 2021 AFCON finals held in Cameroon. The coach has dropped goalkeeper William Thiole, Bright Munsali, Zebron Kalima, and defender Peter Cholopi, who were part of the 2021 AFCON squad. Marinika has been since named Patrick Mabedi and Franco Ndawa as his new assistant, replacing Bob Mpiganidra and Lovemore Fassi, who served under Wase. The Flames will meet Ethiopia and Guinea between the end of this month and next month in the qualifiers for Group D, with a meeting against heavyweight Egypt slated later in the year. Still to come, the Cape Coast Stadium has been approved by the Confederation of African Football (CAF) to host Ghana's AFCON 2023 qualifiers following the rejection of Baba Yara Sports Stadium. The Black Stars will return to Cape Coast in June for the opening game of the African Cup of Nations qualifiers against Madagascar, and the venue will also host games against Central African Republic and Angola. CAF rejected Ghana's proposal to continue the use of the Baba Yara Sports Stadium after it was used for the World Cup playoff against Nigeria following the poor state of the Cape Coast Stadium. However, upon meeting a CAF deadline of April 25th, the continent's football governing body agreed for the use of Cape Coast for Ghana's home games. The Black Stars will begin their AFCON qualifiers on June 1st against Madagascar before traveling to Central African Republic for their second match in Group E. The Black Stars will also be hoping to make a return to the African Cup of Nations after a poor campaign in Cameroon early this year. Al Rayyan SC of Qatar defeated defending champions Al Hilal Saudi 2-0 in the final Group A match in the ACL Champions League in Riyadh on Wednesday. Both sides have already booked their spots in the knockout stage, but the visitors could clinch the top spot in the group if they beat the Saudi Arabian side by more than 3 goals. An own goal for Hyun Sun Jang in the 5th minute, followed by a Johan Bolin strike 2 minutes before halftime, made that a real possibility as Al Rayyan took a 2-0 lead. Bolin nearly grabbed a second in the final seconds of the first half, but his header came back off the top of the crossbar. The hosts improved in the second half and were awarded a penalty when Moussa Marega was stripped in the box by Dame Traoré in the 73rd minute. However, Salem Al-Dasri low spot kick was saved by goalkeeper Fahad Baker as the match finished 2-0 to the visitors, confirming Al Hilal Saudi FC as Group A winners and Al Rayyan as runner-ups. Both sides finished the group stage with 13 points, while Sahaj FC United Arab Emirates UAE came third with 5, and FC Iskol of Tajikistan earned 3. Straight to tennis, where we have Andy Murray has pulled out of his match against Novak Djokovic at the Madrid Open because of illness. The Briton was scheduled to play in the 3rd round of the event on Thursday. However, a statement from the organizer said Andy Murray is unable to take the Manolo Santana Stadium due to illness. Findings showed that Murray beat 2020 US Open champion Dominic Thiem in the first round of tournament before earning a win over Canada's Denis Shapovalov. The 34-year-old Scot has planned to skip the clay court season but reversed his decision last month when accepting a wild card from the Spanish tournament. And Murray, who is ranked 78th in the world, has cited the last 16 match against Djokovic as a fantastic opportunity to play against him again on a big court in a huge tournament. The pair has known each other since they were children and have faced each other 36 times in their professional career. Manchester City was dumped out of Champions League and 2 of their star players have been slammed. Manchester City's centre-back duo, Ruben Dias and Aymeric Laporte, has been criticised for lazy defending in their dramatic Champions League exit to Real Madrid. Former Aston Villa captain Gabriel Agbonlahor has criticised the duo as well as blasting City's coach Pep Guardiola for his substitution of Kevin De Bruyne. Real scored twice late in the normal time to take the semi-final second leg to extra time. Manchester City were stunned and Real took the lead for the first time in the tie after Diaz fouled Benzema in the penalty area and the Frenchman stepped up to convert the spot kick. City were unable to hit back and Guardiola's side suffered more heartache on Europe's biggest stage. Speaking to reporters on Thursday morning, Pep Guardiola singled out Diaz and Laporte, claiming the pair in particular were to blame for bottling their tie. Reacting after the game, Carlo Ancelotti said brilliance from Rodrigo and Benzema was enough to see the Spanish team to the finals. The shirt Diego Maradona wore when he scored the Hand of God goal and much-haunted goal of the century for Argentina against England at the 1986 World Cup has sold for a record fee of £7.1 million. It is the highest price ever paid for a piece of sports memorabilia. Former England midfielder Steve Hodge put it up for auction 36 years after he swapped it with Maradona following the famous quarter-final in Mexico. According to reports, the auction house sold the shirt for more than its estimated price, which was between £4 million and £6 million. Braham Watcher, Sotheby's head of streetwear and modern collectibles, said it is arguably the most coveted football shirt to ever come to auction. The previous highest fee paid for a shirt worn during a sport match was held by New York Yankees legend Babe Ruth's baseball jersey, which sold for $5.6 million, which is 4.4 million pounds in 2019. And that's your sports at World Now at 4. I am Memo Cynthia Sawyer.
Welcome back and thank you for that piece of news from sport. Memo Cynthia Sawyer. And now let's get to one more story. Colombia's President Ivan Duque Marquez has announced Colombia has extradited the drug baron leader of the country's biggest crime gang to the U.S. President Ivan Duque said Dairo Antonio Usuga, better known as Otonio, was the world's most dangerous trafficker. Otonio led the Gulf Clan cartel and is wanted in the U.S. on drug trafficking charges. His capture in October ended a 7-year manhunt, and last month, Colombia's Supreme Court approved the extradition. And that's the much we can take on the World Now at 4. But before we go, another look at our top stories. We told you support groups pick up nomination form for Osibajo. We also told you AU seeks international help after Somalia troops' death. We brought to the fore the fact that UK Prime Minister Johnson faces election test. And on sports, Argentina's Legends Hand of God shirt sells for 7.1 million euros at auction. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hills TV, Instagram at Hills TV. Our YouTube channel is at Hills TV. I am Uduak Daniel. Thank you for watching.